Hello, I hope you're well. So, we are here because a lot of people are struggling to get enough work and find enough work as a virtual service provider. And the challenge is a lot of us are in this role out of necessity, not because we don't necessarily desire to be a virtual service provider. Just life happened, and here we are, and we didn't necessarily learn about any of this in school. That was my story, and I'll share a little bit more about that. But it's January 2021. We are almost a year into this quarantine situation. Work has changed for a lot of us, and I want to talk about things that we can control, so that we can find enough work as a virtual service provider, and so that we can ultimately have more options to take care of our loved ones and whatnot. So, my promise to you is I will talk about visibility that matters. We're not talking about metrics here. We're not talking about selfies and pictures of our food here at all, although there can be place for that. But we're also talking about messaging that will be compelling and motivate people to want to work with you. We'll also talk about having a body of work. A lot of people who apply for hashtag job op posts or respond to them or send out resumes, they don't hear back, and sometimes it can be a messaging issue. And we're going to talk about a Dream 100 concept as well as the bond method, all things to help you to become a fully booked virtual service provider. So even though we're not meeting in person these days, we're not doing the belly to belly thing, the network face to face networking thing. The good news is that 84% of people trust online reviews as much as friends. So that means you can build an online presence that matters to people who are making buying decisions. So the buying decision could be hiring you as a worker, or hiring you as a consultant, or hiring you as fill in the blank. People trust what's said online almost as much as they do what's said from a friend. So I learned this by way of taking lots of courses, lots of classes. I did not go to, I'm a nurse by trade. I did not go to school for marketing. I had to learn a lot to start my own business. And my own business had nothing to do with healthcare at all. It had everything to do with marketing and visibility, because I enjoy helping people to be seen. So in short, we're here because we want you to spend your time wisely. We know that you're busy and you don't have a lot of time. And however, we're just used to, as employees, work, clients, things are usually being sent our way. We don't have to go out and search for work. We don't typically have to convince others why they need to work with us. At least that was the case for me. I was I still am, but in my nursing role, people come to us when they have problems. We don't have to go out and search for folks. So I had to learn those skills. And what I hope to teach you is some of those skills. And if you have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments as well. So the first thing we'll talk about is branding. So I know that you really do want to be a sought after expert who's easy to find. In order to do that, you need to know how to communicate your offerings via strategic word of mouth. And key to that is branding. And when I say branding, I don't necessarily mean the color, visuals, font world, although that's part of it. I'm talking about the message or promise that goes out before you even get into the room, or before your name is even, before you have a conversation with somebody. And I'll give you an example of what this means. So Starbucks does an excellent job with branding. And side note, you were hired for your first job based on your personal brand, whether you knew it or not. And as we grow beyond our first job, we have the opportunity to further develop that brand if we so choose. So Starbucks logo is part of their brand. Their logo is the funny looking mermaid lady. But their brand is that when you enter their doors, you'll have a customized, hot, yummy hot drink of your choice in a short amount of time. Their brand is a cozy environment that caters to you and you get what you want quickly. That's their personal brand. So I want you to think, or their professional brand or their corporate brand. In any case, I invite you to consider your personal brand and what promise you want to relay to other people. Do you want to be known as trustworthy, as productive, as somebody who is resourceful? You can absolutely have control of that. Another thing, in order to be the person who is a sought out expert, and I say sought out because when people seek you out, you don't have to spend so much time convincing people why they should work with you. They'll come to you already knowing why they should work with you. And that's been an experience that I've been able to have because I spent time developing my personal and professional brand. People sometimes will come to me, send me an email or a message on social media that says, "Hey, Amelia, I like to work with you." And I want you to have more of those conversations as well. So the next thing is being able to communicate your offerings. So a challenge is that some people or some of us aren't having as many meaningful conversations as we need, or we're not quite sure about where to begin when it comes to having these conversations. And this can make us feel like overwhelmed and stressed and frustrated. But building a story brand is a messaging framework that has helped me clearly articulate my message and will also help you articulate yours. And it really is guiding people through a story. We, as humans, we're all designed wanting to win the day. We all consider ourselves heroes wanting to win the day. However, there's a challenge that gets in our way, and then we're looking for a guide to help us overcome this challenge. And so, I invite you to think about ways you can start to communicate, what you do. So as you reply to some of these job posts, or, you make applications and you might not hear a reply, sometimes it's because they didn't really understand what problem that you solve. So I invite you to consider leading with the problem you solve, sharing about how you can use your skills to make the lives of someone better, and develop a resource full, and that's FULL, online presence that can act as your body of work, so that when someone does know about your work and tags you, say that someone says, "Hey, I'm looking for someone who can XYZ." Are you tagged in that post? I'm often tagged when somebody says they're looking for marketing support, or they're looking for support to get on podcasts or to do webinars with people because they want to become better known in their industry. People will tag me and say, "Amelia can help you with that." So when you are clear about the problem that you solve, that will also start to happen to you, making other people who happen to see that post reach out to you and see how they can work with you. So I want you to consider using a StoryBrand framework. That's where you're beginning with the problem that you solve. You're talking about challenges and pain points. You're talking about how you can be a guide to get people through their challenges and whatnot. And also feel free to get the book. It's a great book. The next part is your body of work. All right. So when I have requested help sometimes myself, there's been parts of projects that I don't love. And I said, "Hey, do you know of somebody who does XYZ?" And someone will say, "Yes, I can help you." And I say, "Great. Where's your proof? Where are your testimonials?" And they are not able to provide that. So I invite you to consider, where are you housing your proof of work, your evidence that you can solve problems? Where is that? Is it easy to find? Do you have it? If you don't have it, can you do some case studies? Write out times where you help people. That can be useful. Also, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great place where you can start to develop your body of work without a website. The next part is, I want you to consider yourself as somebody who has the ability to build your own network. So I didn't always have a large, much of a robust network. I'm an introvert by nature. I gain energy by being by myself. However, I knew that opportunities wouldn't mysteriously materialize out of thin air. And there's a quote that I say all the time, that opportunities are attached to individuals. And it's a Reid Hoffman quote, and he's the founder of LinkedIn, somebody who knows a thing or two about social networks. So I want you to think of yourself as this red person in the middle. And this could be somebody who might work with you as a client or hire you. This could be someone who might send you a great client. This might be someone else who might spread word about you to their networks. And what really makes this all easier is when you have a clear, compelling message about the problem that you solve, or you do this next step. So what would one yes from an Oprah-like person do for your business? And this is from the idea of Oprah's favorite things. So she would have a list of her favorite things. And if somebody was mentioned on that list, everybody knew about them and their business would expand and whatnot. So if you're looking to grow your business so that you can have more options to care for your loved ones, consider who are the local Oprahs in your field, right? Who are the people that you might be able to collaborate with, and they can share the great work that you do with their respective networks. So you might say, Amelia, this is great, this is fine and good, but I don't really know exactly, how I can apply this for me. So I have found frameworks to be helpful when figuring out how to apply new concepts to my business. And I'm also going to be sharing with you a resource. I'm an affiliate for that resource. That means if you just choose to invest in it, I'll get some coffee money from the person who has the course offering. But in any case, the framework that I use is called Bond. And this is where you browse the needs of your ideal client or your potential referral partners. You browse their needs, observe the tools they're using. And again, this framework is called Bond. Observe the tools that they're using to solve their problems. N, you're narrowing down what success might look like for them. And you nurture that relationship. And D is where you deliver and execute on the plan. And or the deliver means to keep your promise. Say you found somebody that might make sense for you to talk with, to collaborate with. D might look like showing up for the call, right? Showing up and having a conversation. So I would love to keep this conversation going. You can find me over on LinkedIn. I'm there as Amelia J. Roberts. I'm on Clubhouse, Instagram is Twitter as talk, the number 2 Amelia. And my email is Amelia, AMELIA at solutionsbyamelia.com. So I want to show you my virtual workspace as something that might inspire you to figure out how you'll keep your workspace organized so that you can also bring in more clients, because sometimes we're hesitant about bringing in more clients when we're not as organized as we like to be. We're kind of worried about bringing in people to crazy. So I want to show you my virtual workspace, and this might inspire you. And I use Trello. This is what I use for my virtual workspace. So again, people hire me to get leads organically, to do marketing, get in front of more of the right people, and by way of specific methods. And I won't go into those methods because that might not be interesting to you. But this is where I keep frequently used information, story and positioning, and previous things that they've done. Let me just move this out the way. Pitches, calls to action, to-dos are pretty self-explanatory. Visibility opportunities. There are so many visibility opportunities. If you're interested in that, feel free to reach out. Pitching, visibility opportunities to be vetted, opportunities to be pitched, and followed up with, accepted, recorded. And so as things happen, I just move it through this workflow. And I always include other ways to work together. I always want my clients to know after our engagement is over, there are other ways we can continue, that I can continue serving them. So this is something I have found useful as a virtual service provider. So if this was helpful and you said, you know what, Amelia, I think I want some more, or I need a little bit of support, I invite you to take a look at Gina's program. This is Gina. She has a program called Jumpstart Your Virtual Assistant Business in 4 quick steps, and it's a mini course to dip your toe in the virtual assistant world. So long story short, this course will give you a very basic understanding of what it takes to be a virtual assistant and get your business up and running. And if this seems like something that can serve you, just click there to sign me up, click through, and it'll take you to another page. And if you need help with anything, feel free to reach out. But it's only $19 to figure out a potential income source that will give you more options to take care of your loved ones. So I hope this was useful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and or just leave a comment here. But again, I'm over on social media as talk, the number 2 Amelia, LinkedIn, Amelia J. Roberts, collaboration expert. And my email is Amelia, AMELIA at solutionsbyamelia.com. All right, take care.